You're tuned in to The Deep Dive. Today, we're really getting into it, but maybe not with the usual headlines.
No, today it's literature. We've got these excerpts from Dostoevsky's Crime and Punishment, Part 1, Chapter 3.
Exactly. And our mission, if you will, is to really understand what's going on with the protagonist, Raskolnikov, his state of mind.
And this huge piece of news he gets, it tells us so much about, his pressures, his family. It's a pivotal chapter.
Right, literary reconnaissance, as you put it before, pinpointing how Dostoevsky sets up his whole psychological state right from the start.
Precisely. The pressures, the family pull, it's all laid out here, ready to change everything for him.
Okay, so let's step into his world. Let's start with his room. Because, wow, Dostoevsky calls it a tiny cupboard, just a few steps long.
Yeah, that description immediately gives you this feeling of being trapped, completely boxed in.
What else stands out for you in that description?
Well, it's how the physical space mirrors his mental state, isn't it? It's not just that it's small.
You mean like the wallpaper?
Exactly. That peeling, dusty yellow wallpaper, the ceiling pressing down. It's all designed to feel oppressive. It's like his inner turmoil made visible. Dostoevsky's brilliant at that.
And the furniture, just 3 rickety chairs, that table buried under papers and dusty books.
Untouched papers, thick dust. It speaks to stagnation, like his mind's just stuck.
Yeah, ground to a halt. And his bed is that raggedy sofa.
The ragged, chintz-covered sofa, yeah. And the way he sleeps in his clothes, no sheets, using dirty laundry for a pillow.
It shows this profound self-neglect, doesn't it?
Absolutely. A complete collapse of basic living structures.
Yeah.
It's a sign of a much deeper breakdown happening inside.
Which feeds right into his mood. The text says he wakes up bilious, irritable, ill-tempered, hating the room itself.
It's a vicious cycle, right? The awful room makes him feel worse, which makes him withdraw even more.
Like a tortoise in its shell. That image really sticks.
It's perfect. It shows just how much he wants to be alone, how even Nastasya just peeking in irritates him. And we know he's obsessed with something, though we don't know what yet.
And the fact that the landlady stopped sending food weeks ago, and he hasn't even complained.
It's extreme. Total detachment from basic needs like survival. Something else is consuming him entirely. What could possibly be more important than eating?
It makes you wonder. So into this isolation comes Nastasya.
Right, the cook, the only servant. She's described as this talkative countrywoman. Seems kind of amused by him, actually.
Yeah, she finds his gloom funny, and she brings him tea, but it's weak and stale. Not exactly comforting.
Hardly. But even this small interaction tells us more. He immediately asks for bread and cheap sausage.
That raw hunger just cuts through everything else for a moment.
It does. And Nastasya just casually suggests yesterday's cabbage soup, capital soup, yesterday's.
Yeah, it really drives home how basic things are. It's just about getting something in him.
And then she mentions the landlady, Praskovya Pavlovna, threatened to go to the police about the rent.
Oof. What's his reaction to that? It seems sort of muttered.
Yeah, the devil. No, that would not suit me just now. It's interesting. He knows he's in trouble, but it feels like getting the police involved would mess up something else.
Something more important to him right then, like a plan.
Possibly. It hints at some other preoccupation. Then Nastasya really calls him out, doesn't she?
She does, quite bluntly. Asks why he does nothing, reminds him he used to teach kids.
And his reply, I am doing work.
I'm thinking. It's almost funny in a dark way, especially when she just laughs silently.
That laughter just highlights the huge gap between his inner world, where he thinks he's doing important work, and his actual reality, sitting there in squalor.
Total disconnect.
And then he says he needs boots to give lessons. It sounds like such a small thing, but it shows how poverty creates these real, practical barriers. He can't even try to earn money.
And right after that, he just blurts it out. He wants a fortune.
Yeah, this massive ambition just dropped into the middle of all this misery. Is it real hope? Delusion?
Hard to tell at this point.
It's that ambiguity that hooks you. And then, almost as an afterthought, Nastasya says, oh yeah, a letter came yesterday.
And bam, the change in him is instant. A letter. For me. Suddenly, he's all energy, scrambling for kopecks for the postage.
That excitement is such a contrast to his earlier apathy. And he desperately wants to be alone with it. It feels like a lifeline.
Definitely. And the way he handles it, kissing it, looking at his mother's handwriting, there's real tenderness there.
A real longing for connection. Completely opposite to the tortoise mode, but he hesitates before opening it.
Yeah, like he's bracing himself. Hope mixed with fear, maybe?
Could be. We learn it's from his mother, Pulcheria, far away in the province. And it's big letter, heavy, 2 whole sheets covered in tiny writing.
Not just a quick hello then, this is serious news.
Absolutely. And right away, she talks about money, or the lack of it. Explains the 2-month silent struggles, mentions her tiny pension, how she managed to send him money before by borrowing.
And that she's finally paid that debt back, which might mean she can send more soon.
That's the implication. It paints this picture of constant financial worry hanging over all of them. It must weigh on him.
But the real bombshell is about his sister, Dounia. She's been back with their mother for 6 weeks.
And she's staying. The mother says her sufferings are over, which sounds good, but then she explains why Dounia left her job as a governess.
Right, with the Svidrigaïlovs, it sounds like it got really bad. Mr. Svidrigaïlov made advances.
Started with rudeness, escalated to unwanted advances. A horrible position for Dounia.
And the wife, Marfa Petrovna, blamed Dounia at first, fired her in disgrace. That must have been terrible for her reputation.
Devastating in a small town. But then the letter says Marfa Petrovna found out Dounia was innocent. Apparently, Dounia wrote a letter to Svidrigaïlov telling him off.
And Marfa Petrovna found it, or Dounia showed it.
The letter implies Marfa Petrovna got hold of it somehow, realized the truth, and then...
Well, she went all out.
How so?
She apparently went around town reading Dounia's letter aloud to everyone to clear her name. Very dramatic. Wow. A bit over the top, maybe, as the mother says, but effective, I guess.
Definitely effective. And this whole drama, this clearing of her name, leads directly to the next big piece of news.
The engagement to Pyotr Petrovitch Luzhin.
Exactly, Luzhin. A counselor, so he has some status, distant relative of Marfa Petrovna, who helped make the match.
How does the mother describe him? I remember it being interesting.
Yeah, well-to-do, practical, has modern convictions, but also somewhat morose and conceited.
That doesn't sound great. And didn't he say something about wanting to marry a poor girl?
Yes. That's a huge red flag, isn't it? He explicitly wants someone poor, without a dowry, who will basically see him as her savior, her benefactor.
Yikes. So it's less about love and more like a business deal.
It certainly sounds that way. Very transactional. And the mother kind of implies Dounia knows this, but is doing it for the family.
For financial security, and maybe for Raskolnikov, too.
That's the crucial part. They see Luzhin, with his legal office in Petersburg, as a way forward for Raskolnikov. They hope he'll get a job with him, maybe become a partner.
And maybe Luzhin will help him finish university. That seems to be the unspoken hope.
It's all riding on this connection, this marriage, to a man who sounds, well, calculating at best.
It was enormous pressure on Dounia, and indirectly on Raskolnikov, I suppose.
Immense pressure. And then the most immediate news bomb. They're coming to Petersburg. Soon. Maybe within a week.
Wow. After 3 years apart, his mother and sister are actually coming to the city. That must be huge for him.
Overwhelming, you'd think. A mix of maybe comfort, but also more pressure, more expectations.
And the mother mentions that because Dounia's engaged now, her own credit is better, so maybe she can send him money soon.
Right, so his immediate money problems might ease up slightly. The letter ends with all this love and blessing, concern for his faith. You know, very motherly.
It's packed with emotion. Hardship, sacrifice, hope, all focused on this marriage and Raskolnikov's future. So how does he take it all in?
Not well. Not well at all. The initial tears, okay, maybe relief or emotion.
Yeah.
But then his face goes pale, twisted.
And that smile. Bitter, wrathful, and malignant. That's chilling.
It really is. It tells you straight away this news hasn't landed the way his mother hoped. It hasn't brought comfort.
No, it seems to have made things worse. He's agitated, heart-pounding, mind-racing, feels trapped in the room again.
More trapped than ever, ironically.
Yeah.
And he just bolts. Suddenly needs to get outside, forgets all about not wanting to see people.
What do you think that means? That sudden need for air, for escape?
Coupled with that awful smile. It feels like the news, instead of saving him, has maybe solidified something dark inside him, some terrible resolve.
And he's just wandering, talking to himself, people thinking he's drunk.
Yeah, it shows how profoundly shaken he is. The letter hasn't solved anything. It seems to have pushed him closer to the edge.
So let's just quickly recap for everyone listening. Raskolnikov is really at rock bottom, physically, mentally, totally isolated.
Then this letter arrives. Huge news. His sister Dounia is engaged to Luzhin. They're all moving to Petersburg. Potential lifeline, right?
You'd think so. Financial help, family reunion.
But his reaction is just deeply disturbing, wrathful, malignant. It ends the chapter on this really ominous note.
Which leaves us, and you, the listener, with a big question. How is this news actually going to impact him? Is it hope Or is it fuel for whatever fire is burning inside him?
Will it pull him back or push him forward into something worse?
Yeah. And this deep dive, it's really just scratching the surface of this one chapter. Crime and punishment goes so much deeper into all these themes.
Oh, absolutely. Morality, guilt, redemption. It's all in there. This is just one piece of a very complex puzzle.
Definitely encourages you to read or reread the whole thing. So much to explore.
Indeed. This is just one layer. Hopefully, it's given you some food for thought. Keep exploring those layers.